It's Jen and Andrea
Andrea.
Quilts. I'm not really suited to being in charge.
Fair enough.
I got to get rid of my lap wiener. Hang on. All right. Tonight we have something special to share. We are talking about the QuiltGenius Design Toolkit. And this is something we saw at H&H. And at first it was kind of like, oh, a notebook, how cute. And then we opened it and both of us were like, very excited. And I'm very excited. And I've had 3 caffeinated beverages. So if I'm talking too fast, Andrea, please just tell me to dial it back.
Okay.
But so I was really excited about this, and it combines several things that I really love: quilting, graph paper, and stencils. So when you open it up, you see that there's an instruction book, which has a lot of good information, but I don't look at instruction books as a rule.
You should look at this one. There is good information and pretty pictures.
Yeah, I like to just make all my mistakes before I look at the instructions.
I would say there's good inspiration in the book as well, though.
Yeah, okay. I'll get back to that.
I'll just take my word for it.
The stencil is very exciting because it has it's a little unmanageable. If you're of a certain age, it's like a trapper keeper.
Yes.
The stencil has like this grid which tells you the quilt sizes, which is really, really useful and nice because, you know, I've been quilting for a couple of years now, and I still look up quilt sizes and don't know what size to start with.
Yeah.
So that's great. And it also has at the bottom, it has like sashings and stuff, which is pretty cool.
And it shows you the sizes, but you can still make it whatever size you want. You know, you're not set to just those.
Right. And I do it in different scales too, but I'll show you that in a second. So there's that. And then there's these other stencils that are pretty exciting. So I'll try to get them on a blank page. I did a little bit of this today, but I'm not really ready. So there's basic shapes and in different sizes. So you can trace out what you want, which is really nice. Like Andrea and I were showing like the circles and stuff. Like how often do you draw a circle on graph paper and it looks like a real circle?
On any paper. I can't draw a perfect circle.
No. So it has that. It has, here we go. It has a circle, the drunkard's path, half square triangle, quarter square triangle, and half circles. Very nice. The second one has flying geese in 3 sizes, half rectangle triangles, which is really nice. Isosceles triangles.
Yeah, triangle and a square. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I get very mathy because I'm a total nerd. Orange peels and then square and square. The diamond.
Yeah, square, diamond, whatever.
Very cool.
And the one on the bottom, I realized this afternoon when I was playing with it with Hazel, the little squares in the bottom there are perfectly aligned to do a checkerboard. So if you fill in the whole row, then you just offset it, fill in the next row.
Have to move it. Yeah. Oh, that's so smart. Yeah. See, maybe I should look at those instructions. Then they have this one, which is borders and rows. And they have all different things. If you do, you know, like a border that's 1 square wide, you can play with these different things and see what you get. So it's really fun. Like I am a computer person. I do a lot of design on the computer, but I still love graph paper. All right.
Yeah, graph paper is great.
And graph paper, you know, a graph paper notebook by itself, big deal. I could get that at Staples. However, there is on point graph paper, which I've never seen anywhere before.
Me neither.
This is great because the sizes are the right size for the things, the stencils, so you can draw them at the correct size. Like that's the other thing is when you draw on regular graph paper and you try to do an on-point layout, all of your block sizes get so weird.
Yeah.
And then the last kind of graph paper is the one that made me, I think I may have broken a window squealing over it.
It was pretty exciting. I've never seen graph paper like this.
So this is isometric graph paper is the nerd word. And that's...
Yeah, hold it still for a sec so it can... Yeah, there now people can see.
So it's equilateral triangles. And if you get 6 of them, you get a hexagon. So there's also stencils that go with that. And you can see I was playing with the kite shapes and the diamonds and filling them in and then just a straight line. I was playing with the hexagons. I don't know. I guess that's a beetle or something. But it's fun to play, and playing on
Yeah.
pencil is so much faster than playing in EPP.
And it's more intuitive, and I think you're more likely to like come up with new ideas. Like if you're just fooling around, like it leads to something that could be
Yeah.
cool.
And I often don't actually start as a quilt. I start with other things. So I'll let you see how, like, so this is my one pattern that I really play with is rotation. I started breaking down the blocks and then I got out the
Oh.
colored pencils. I almost never do that because I change my mind after coloring once and then it's ruined. But I played with the curves and stuff and that was fun. But my real favorite way to design is I like to draw out a fat quarter and then get the shapes that I can to see what I can use my fat quarters for. And then I started drawing what I could do with these blocks and stuff. So it's really, I find it to be really, really helpful, even though I am a computerized quilter. So I'll look at the instruction book with you now.
I think you can easily, combine this with the computer though too.
Oh
Like
yeah.
start doodling, in with the graph paper and the stencils here. And then if you come up with a block you really like or a combination of blocks you really like, then you can take that to the computer to repeat it a million times. That part, that's the computers are really good at that part. But coming up with the initial ideas can sometimes it's helpful to do that on paper. And because of the graphs and the stencils that work with the graphs, you actually can do a lot of repeating pretty quickly because it's just,
Yeah.
so, if you don't like designing on the computer, you're not able to, or you just don't want to, this is a really good alternative to that, or a really good, working to go with that accompaniment. Does that work? I don't know,
Yeah.
something.
I think so. I think it for me, I really like it. And I did that fat quarter one and I did take it to the computer. And so I have something that I'm working on and we'll show that at a later meeting or something. But it's really useful and starting with the blank graph paper, I always start with triangles because they're the easiest ones to draw. But having those other shapes right there in my hand, like
Yes,
just reminds me they exist, which
that too. Yeah,
I forget that that's a thing.
I
But
started doing some little doodling here.
oh
And
gosh.
I like what's happening, but it doesn't quite fit. But I know that now. Like that's
Right.
also part of like, okay, so I like this pattern, but as you can see, those small hexes in the middle, they're not actually in the middle.
They're not sitting
So
right.
that tells me like, oh, okay, I have to tweak this to figure out how it'll fit. Because I could come up with this design on regular paper and make it look like it fits and that it'll work, but then I go to actually implement it and it isn't going to work. So
Yeah.
this tells me that before I actually start, before I get any further along.
I think the isometric paper too is better for that stuff even than the computer. I am not all that
I can't,
skilled on the
yeah.
computer. It's very difficult, even with EQ8, which has things that do that. Every time I try to do a hexi quilt on EQ8, I have to go look up the instructions. And it's great.
And
I could, but I just drew that today and it was there and I could have it. And I could actually have that done and in fabric tomorrow if I feel like it. So it's really nice.
and I hadn't really thought about the diamond one or on point.
Yeah.
Um, but you're absolutely right because you design everything in one direction so that you can cut a 4-inch square or whatever, but then when you put it on point it's like, oh, what's that size again, what size is this, what, and all my measurements are, I have to like think about everything differently, but this is that.
Yeah.
So it kind of it helps me visualize that stuff, but know that I'm still in proportions that are easily cut.
Yeah, I see Timmy the Chin, which I think is not the name that I know this person by, is asking if it's 8.5 inch by 11 papers. And it's standard
Yes.
paper sizes. And they do sell refill notebooks. Oh, it's Raquel.
Yes.
I thought so.
We
Okay.
were, yeah, we made sure of that before we even bought it. Like, oh, well, what a waste. If once you run out of paper, you have to buy the whole thing. But that's not the case. They sell it, we'll get refills.
Yes.
Um,
Hey, Raquella. Yeah, so it's regular 8.5-inch by 11-inch paper. So I'm looking, I have the instructions are open on my desk for the first time. And it's 30 sheets of basic graph paper and 15 sheets of the diagonal and 15 sheets of the isometric. So there's that. And then it explains how to use the stencil to mark out your things. Although that's pretty intuitive, I thought.
That part was. It was
Yeah,
towards the further on in the guide
just a little
that I thought.
deeper.
And we were even talking about it too. I didn't realize you didn't look at it.
I don't like instructions. We've been working together for a while. You should have picked up on
I
this.
should have, you're right.
Everything that I don't know how to do is what you're supposed to learn on day one, page one. So it talks about using the diagonal graph paper here and how it's set up correctly for the sizes, and it also has looks like it has it has the grid count for what size you want. I thought that it had information on scale, but I'm not sure.
I didn't actually read anything in the guide.
Just looked
I
at the
was just
pictures.
looking at the pictures.
All right, so you're like one step better than me. You did
Yeah.
crack open the book.
Yeah.
But I know there's something about scale. Scale for me is a hard concept. I don't always get it. Like and it's something about like the three. There was something about 3 squares, and I was like, no, it needs to be 2 for my brain to work. If it's 3, I can't do that math. But yeah, it has a lot of things, and it has like suggestions for blocks and how to do basic shapes. It does mention like, so I was telling Andrea today, I did actually break out my colored pencils to color. I usually don't color because coloring on the paper just drives me crazy. There is one page that says make copies after you do your drawing and then color. It was like, all right, that's smart. Because after I change my mind, I can't do it. That's why I take it to the computer when it's time to color. Yeah, and then there's examples of how to do diagonal layouts on that point paper, and look at how cool that is. So I think
some of the quilts that they show are like, I already want to make some of those.
Yeah, I have to say that I was really kind of blown away by C&T this year. Like, I'm usually able to avoid when you try to sell me weird stuff, but they totally caught me on like 3 different things this year.
They did. That's true.
There was this, and then the color cards, which I saw the first time. We were both like, eh. And then we got lured into a demonstration, and it was like, well, sign me up. So they have some really pretty things. So I think it's going to be really great. And then here's one. We were talking about this today. They show using it like tiles, like how to take tile floors. Now, I know that I'm not the only one who has photos of tile floors littering.
Or manhole covers or, whatever. Yeah.
But it would be so cool. And I think with this, you could definitely be on vacation and sit down and start drawing out your tiles. And
absolutely.
I was looking for the pictures of Disney floors today, but I missed them.
Even just the ones on the cover, like,
yeah.
So, this is just an example of how you could use it. That's the grid, the regular grid. This is the isometric grid. I mean, like, that's pretty cool right there. And it shows you a lot of the different shapes you can use and a lot of the different scales.
Yeah.
I mean, just that right there is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's really well done. I really like it. I've been playing with it. It arrived, I don't know. I think I got mine a few days ago, and I'm pretty sure that I was texting everybody like, it's here and it's so much fun. And I show my husband and my kid, and they're both like, what?
Okay, whatever.
This is graph paper. Didn't you have this already? And it's like, well, this is a different graph paper.
Well, my 7-year-old was very into the stencils.
That's excellent. Hazel needs to be doing some design.
She was. She started to.
I have my Hazel card.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you better hold on to that so you can get into the cutting room.
Yeah, I have to use it to get in next time. I have it. It's here. It's important. But so this is $34.95 for the book. I definitely think it's worth it. If I wasn't a weasel, I would have bought it. But I am a weasel. So
we don't have the refills in stock yet, but we'll get some of those. We figure you'll need a little time to go through what's included.
Yeah, but it's I don't know. This is going to be a problem for me. I'm going to be
I
drawing.
think it's great. We're gonna have so many more cool designs. Come up with cool new patterns.
All right. I think I ran out. Is there anything else I was supposed to say?
We are supposed to remind people about the thread talk tomorrow.
Right. So tomorrow we have Sherry from Whole Circle Studios. She has a lot of syllables. No, that wasn't the end. I was just that was the end of this, unless there's something else I'm going to talk about. Oh, yes. Yeah, scan the QR code Yvette put up and order the notebook, please. We have a bunch of them in stock. But for tomorrow, we have our thread talk with Sherry from Whole Circle Studios. And her last name has a lot of syllables, which I can spell, but I don't know if I say it right. But she is great. She does a lot of foundation paper piecing, and she is going to be talking about quilt design as a graphic designer. And her stuff always looks so different. I haven't made one of her patterns yet because there's so many people I want to make, but she's definitely on the short list.
Yes.
Her greenhouse one. Oh,
I'm looking forward to this talk. And honestly, well, you won't have it by tomorrow night, but I could see myself sitting and listening and using this tool to start sketching some ideas as I'm listening.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm going to have to rethink how I do my suitcase carry-on for when I travel, because this will have to be in my bag, and my bag's going to be that much heavier, but I think it'll be worth it. Yeah, I don't know why the stencils drive me wild. I've always loved stencils.
It's something about the precision, and and the accuracy is just, it's
so nice. Yeah, and they line up right nice on the graph paper. It's like, oh, this how did this just happen? I wonder. That's so smart. What was the other thing? Oh, our Bagapalooza retreat is coming up. We're very excited for that. By the time the retreat gets here, Andrea and I should have made everything in the book, I'm sure.
I believe so. We're pretty close. I think each of us has done 4 or 5 things.
I've only done 2 so far.
Oh, really?
That's it. I have
how many I've done.
One of my things had 2 things in it. So
1, 2. I did something else, but now I don't remember what it was.
I have a little slidey box that's already been populated with embroidery.
I have a zipper, a 3-pocket zipper pouch, and a little bin. And then I started making another. Oh, and I made. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. The See It All pouch. I think that's what it's called, or 3-pot. I don't know, some pocket pouch. But I've been using it. Yep, the folio. And I started making another vinyl pouch yesterday.
I wonder if there's some vinyl in my house. I keep forgetting I need to order some. Or
I should have given you some. I have a whole roll.
I probably have some. What's the thing?
You have everything. I'm sure you do somewhere.
I probably have a full roll somewhere. I do have everything.
But yeah, her patterns, Anila Hui, who wrote the book that we're going to be using, Stitched Sewn Organizers. She has done a very good job writing these patterns. I've sewn a lot of zipper pouches. This one was a little confusing, I have to say. It has this inside that's smaller that you don't see when it's zipped up. Which is pretty cool, but it was a little tricky, but it made sense. Like, I could follow the whole thing. She's got lots of good diagrams, and all I have to say is I'm glad that I didn't have to write that pattern, because I would not have done as good a job as she did.
So was it confusing when you were making it, or was it confusing before you started?
Definitely before I started. And she even admits that at the beginning of the project, is like, it might not make sense when you read through it, but as you're doing it, it will make sense. And there was 1 or 2 places where I had to read it a couple times, but in general, yeah, it totally made sense.
I thought that the folio was no problem. It was a lot of steps, and except for the fact
you whipped that right out.
The buttonhole was upsetting to me, but it was my first time buttonholing. So that was on me. That was not a fault of the pattern. And then the box, the way she has you.
It was so easy.
But the way she has you make it, like when I first read it, it was like, what the heck? What are you talking about? The corners are empty, and then it went right together. It was like, Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I could just pop these babies out.
I'm willing to follow her wherever she leads because clearly it's just she knows what she's doing. And yeah, I agree. I don't want to have to explain that. I made a bag, I made a messenger bag, and I have people who are like, when are you going to release the pattern? It was like,
No
oh,
thanks.
we're going to have a chat and I can explain what I did, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Bag pattern writing is a whole other level that don't think that I'll be achieving anytime soon.
But if you're intimidated by bag making or
Oh,
little
right.
boxes like this, or vinyl or zippers or any of that stuff, this is a great way to get into it because we're going to be there to answer questions. We're going to have demo videos available. Um, we can do demos on the spot if somebody needs something or wants to go over something again, has questions about the pattern. If you're, reading the pattern for this triple zipper pouch and you're like, I don't get this, we will be there to help you. And like Jen said, by the time we have the retreat, we will have made all of the projects in the book. So we'll be even better at helping you than we usually would be.
Yeah, and this is our retreats are a no stupid question zone. There's only questions that everybody else is too embarrassed to ask.
Yep,
So
exactly.
lots of questions. We welcome the questions because that's how we get to show off that we know everything. If you don't ask us, we can't tell you.
That's exactly right. I never thought about it that way. And the retreat is November 15th through the 17th. So it's not the weekend right before Thanksgiving. It's the one before that. So this would be a great, and a lot of these things are make really nice gifts. So it's a great time to kind of get some of those handmade gifts done.
Yeah.
So yeah, Thread Talks, Bagapalooza, and QuiltGenius
Yes.
Toolkit.
If my mother's saying that zippers are her kryptonite, that's a lie. My mother can take a piece of clothing into her studio and come out with the identical piece of clothing in different fabric 2 hours later.
Wow.
They're not
I
her
want
kryptonite.
that skill.
She has no kryptonite.
That's a great skill to have. I would love that.
Yeah. Oh, Nana is my mother. She's doing the comments. If you guys can't see it, that's I can see the comment. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's my next exciting weekend. I have some busy months coming up to that. So yeah. Does anybody have any questions about anything?
Any of the things we've mentioned tonight, the QuiltGenius Design Toolkit or the retreat or the talk tomorrow. I'll just mention that Thread Talks, if you're in Gotham, Club Gotham, which we just had a sale over the weekend. So I saw we got a lot of new people signed up. So if you are signed up or if you're a member, you get all the Thread Talks for free. So you do still have to register. So don't forget to do that so that we can send you the link. But you don't have to pay for it. So come on in, sign up. And you can watch Sherry tomorrow.
And if you've registered and you're trying to get in, shoot an email to us, owners at Gotham Quilts, or is there help at gothamquilts.com?
Or info or any
of them, info at gothamquilts.com. We see them and we will get you in, but you need to tell us that you're having trouble getting in. We're really good at reading minds, but the link has to come electronically.
Yes, they are both standing by just to help people get in right before and immediately when the talk starts. So don't hesitate to reach out if you're having issues, and they will be able to help you. I will not be able to help you, but one of them will.
Oh, we have it scheduled the same night as Guild for Kathy. Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's too bad.
There's conflict no matter what night we pick.
That's the truth. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I don't see any questions. I think hopefully people are scanning the codes and just diving in, and can't wait to see if you guys come up with some designs and let us know.
Yeah. All right. I'm so excited. I was at the shop today. I packed up everybody who's in Creative Hand Stitch Journey.
Yep, those packages went out, and yeah, so we got some stuff done today. And got to play with this, which was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm going to go color some more.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, and we will see you again next week. Good
Bye.
night.